What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're doing well today. We're going to be looking at the Ketuo Triad. Let's get into it. All right, what we're going to do today, guys, is we're going to do some size comparisons, profile comparison. We'll check the weight on this knife, and then we'll jump into my thoughts and impressions. Let's go ahead and kick it off with some size comparisons. First up, we got the Miguron Moriarl, which I consider to be a medium-sized knife. As you can see, this lines up really well with the Moriarl, and then we'll bring out the Civivi Bull Tusk, which I consider to be more full-sized, and you can see that the Triad is closer to that medium-sized EDC. Let's go ahead and move the Bull Tusk out of the way. We'll go ahead and grab the Spyderco Shaman, which is going to be, again, full-size comparison. We'll hang on to the Moriarl here for the profile in just 1 second, and then here it is against the Para 3 Lightweight, and you can see this is definitely closer to a medium-sized knife, which is going to be nice for those EDC carries. Let's go ahead and check out the profile comparison against the Moriarl, and as you can see right here, very comparable to the Moriarl. And then we'll do the Spyderco Para 3. And as you can see, this one is just a little bit thicker than the Para 3 Lightweight. And then we'll do close comparisons to these two here. Since it is closer to that, you can see it has a nice low profile resembling that of what you see on the Moriarl, perhaps even a little bit skinnier. Let's go ahead and check the weight on this one. Grab the scale, bring that on over here. And this one here feels like 4 ounces. Not even. I don't know what I'm thinking. 3.3 ounces. Very lightweight knife. Very nice. That carbon fiber coming in clutch on the scales there. Let's go ahead and jump into my thoughts and impressions of the Triad. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about ergos first and foremost. This has a trigger pull style for choil. I can't really get the full finger in there because I land on top of the edge of the blade, but if I'm just in a trigger pull, it's really, really nice. I think I have a little bit of tape residue on there from when I was testing the cutting earlier. And in the choked back position, I have 3.5 fingers. So I really find like really using the trigger pull, that's my favorite position. That's where I like to be the most. You do feel the pocket clip a little bit, but I do like this pocket clip because it stands proud. It has good retention, but it goes in and out of the pocket very well because it's ramped properly. So I do like that. It's a beautiful titanium pocket clip. It has the Ketuo branding on it. And then on this side, you have the M390, and I think it says Triad right beside that M390 on there. And then you have the logo. I'm not sure if that's the designer. I'm gonna have to assume that it is the designer, guys. You have a backspacer that's integrated, or I'm sorry, you have a backspacer with integrated lanyard hole. You have a filler tab for where the pocket clip is that is reversible. Beautiful shred carbon fiber scales here, looking really good against that lighting. I'm gonna turn that down just a little bit. It's a little bright in my face. There we go. So I know you probably can't see me as well as a result of that, but I do need to turn that down just a little bit. It is blinding me. You have a sandblasted finish here on a compound ground blade, American style Tonto. Nice flat belly for the power cuts. You have a nice acute tip both at the Tonto point and at the top there for puncture task, and then for draw cuts and utility cuts down here. Jimping carries all the way out throughout the spine up until just before the spoon. I would probably just suggest carrying it out to the spoon right here, the harpoon, just because it's nice to have that control out here if you're trying to use the flat part of the compound ground blade. It is really, really good. You also have really nice pinch grip position here. You can get your finger into that trigger pull position, and you can get your finger right into this harpoon spoon here, and then you can use that to use the Tonto for the detailed work, and then a little uncomfortable to get way up here for the point, but again, I think of that more as like your puncture task to poke whatever it is that you need. That's what she said. And then you can get into your power cut and draw cuts, things of that nature. The button here is proud on this particular model. It sticks out just a little bit. There's your angle from the other side. The scale's contoured, so it does mask it a little bit, But when you get into this part of the scale here, you can see where it rounds. Actually, let me do it this way, guys. It makes more sense, right? You get right up to the scale there, and you can see it's a little bit taller here because of the contouring. You got good jimping here, works well. On here, it took me a second to realize it, but with this flipper tab, it's almost like a top flipper. You want to get up on the top here, and then this jimping down here is grabbing on the lower part of the finger, so it flips nicely. Really good. Reverse flick works fine. It feels a little muted for me, not super crisp, but I would call it satisfying. Thumb stud is really good. It has plenty of bite, nice positioning, good leverage way down here below the pivot. You're able to fire that front flipper. I wish that they would have carried the jimping up. What you saw happening on the first one there is I was landing on the round part here and unfortunately slipping off, so you got to come way down low to get into that front flipper, and it is a little bit slick. I would have liked just a little bit more aggressive jimping there for the front flipper, but I really like, my favorite way is the flipper tab, the reverse flick, and the thumb stud. Those are my favorite ways to deploy it. A little bit of button stick, but it is centered. Did I check to make sure this hasn't come loose since I've gotten it? Yeah, nice tight up and down and side to side. Yeah, nice and tight both. I just checked the side to side without the up and down, and I hadn't checked it since I've gotten it. So it does feel like the button is hitting it on a little bit, and I'm wondering if that's because it's not a completely push to close. I'm not 100% sure. And it actually does look like it might be favoring the pocket clip side ever so slightly, so I don't know, maybe if it's been over tightened. I guess I could check that just to make sure. Nope, it was right in that sweet spot. I didn't make it loose. I keep forgetting to go on top. I keep wanting to hit it back here, and I keep missing that. It is one that you probably will get comfortable with the longer that you have it. Now, this one does have, let me grab my flashlight here. This one does have a lot of milling on the inside there for weight reduction. So I guess that's how they're able to get it really close to that 3-ounce weight. And let's kick it down to the table and talk about cutting performance. All right, guys, down in the garage with the Ketuo Triad. Let's see what this thing does. Bear in mind, this is coming via the pass-around group. I haven't checked it. All right, nice factory edge. Good to see that. Let's grab a little piece of cardboard. This one does have some tape on it, so apologies. It is a single ply, typical cardboard, piece of cardboard. The laser beam, guys. That hollow grind is really well done. I am trying to avoid the tape, apologies. And not bad on the utility cut, but you do have to get up really high to make any type of penetration. And you know, it does feel really good going through the cardboard. I am trying to avoid the tape just to keep it from getting gummed up, because it is pass around and it is just very light cutting. And the M390 seems to be treated well, really thin. The only thing I'm really feeling is the pocket clip and the liners a little bit. But let's kick it up to the table and we'll finish it from there. So as you can see there, really good slicer. This is going to perform extremely well for everyday carry. It's going to be really easy to sharpen. I like this one for an everyday carry knife. I like it a lot. I think if they could have made this spot a little bit more flat or a little less radius, I think it would have been actually even better for that full 4-finger grip, and then I'd have a little bit of space left over. But as it sits, I really don't mind kind of using it in the trigger pull or just kind of moving back and like catching the ramp right there to get all 4 fingers on it. Price comes in at $215 at White Mountain Knives. Alternatively, for that $200 price point, you could pick up one of the premium Pyrites or Echoes. They're going to be a little bit better ergonomically, in my opinion, but the Echo is actually just a little bit smaller and just a little bit skinnier overall as well. So it has an overall thinner profile. You're getting S90V from CJRB, which I like because 59 to 61 on S90V is an excellent heat treat. The M390 here coming in at that same 59 to 61 heat treat range is a little low for M390 for its maximum performance, but it's still going to perform very well. The action, I would say, on the Echo and on the Pyrite, as you can see, a little bit more crisp, better sounds, not so muted. Not that bad, but it's a little bit more muted, and I think that has to do with the thicker material. You're getting that for 199 bucks. This one again, $215. For those of you on the budget, I really like the Chevalier 2 with the aluminum scales as a nice alternative recommendation for this one. It is just a skosh longer. It is still, again, thinner in profile. Now, if you like the knives chunkier, that might be a little bit of a deterrent that this one is skinnier. But I do like that they have very similar overall profiles, and I do like the modified sheep's foot blade here on the Chevalier. And again, this one has really good sounds. Actually, I would say they're pretty similar. I wish the action was a little bit better. I think that needs to be broken in more. Yeah, it did loosen out on me a little bit. It sucks because it's kind of hard to find that sweet spot. Okay, so that's too tight. I guess that's what I get for messing with it, guys. Okay, there we go. Yeah, there we go. It's acting a little weird. But anyway, $67, 14C28N, which is not going to be as good a performance as M390 or S90V, but 14C28N does punch above its pay grade. I really like the performance of 14C28N, and Civivi does a very good job on theirs. I'm just making sure that this one's still good to go. Those are my alternative recommendations. Overall, I like the knife. I think you get a lot for your money. I think it's very nicely styled. And I like the materials that are being offered on it and the build quality. Let me know what you think about the Triad down in the comments below, and any questions that you have on anything that I may have missed when I was doing this review, leave that down there as well, and I try to make sure that I go back to answer that for you guys. Shout out to everyone out there that likes, uses the links, comments, and is subscribed. I appreciate your support. I love you guys, and I hope you have a fantastic week. Until next time, peace.